everyone, Kristina here. Welcome to another Friday Focus video. Today I'm continuing my mini-series using distress inks, and I'm using 3 different colors of distress ink today. I'm using Warren Lipstick, which I'm applying to my craft sheet first, and then I'm going to be using Ripe Persimmon and also some mustard seeds. So I'm just putting these on in kind of a stripe design onto my craft sheet. And I'm going to be doing something similar to what I've done in the past, but I'm going to add a special little step at the end, and you'll see what I mean when we get there. So I'm just putting on, oh, I'm sorry, it's not mustard seed, it's wild honey. Putting wild honey on there. And then I'm going to take my mister bottle and just mist a bunch of just regular plain tap water onto the colors. And I'm just getting it nice and saturated so they're big water droplets. And then I'm pressing some Strathmore watercolor paper down onto the ink, and this is 5x7 watercolor paper. I'm just going to smush it around, get those colors mixing, and then I'll lift it from the side so the ink colors don't blend vertically. And then I'll be taking my heat tool and drying this completely so that I can pounce it into the ink once again. So I'll just hit that with my heat tool until it's completely dry, and then I'm going to turn over the watercolor piece and pounce it back into those water droplets that are left on my craft sheet. And I sort of just pounce one little corner in, and I see what it looks like. And then I decide that in that top corner it needs another little thing of interest, so I'll pounce down just the top corner this time. And now I'll have a little more color right there. And then I'll dry it one more time. And I want even more water droplets, so I'm going to turn it over once again and get a few more little water droplets. And I want to break up that big spot in that corner in the bottom, so I'll turn it over and tap it down there too a few times to get some different color. And then also that little corner up near the middle. And there we go. After I had it to this point, I decided I was going to dry it. And then I'm going to do my extra step, and that's just by adding water. So I cleaned off my craft mat. And then I took my mini mister bottle that I'd sprayed the inks with, and I'm spraying it directly into my hand and then letting it fall onto my piece here. And this way you can sort of have a little bit more control over where the water droplets end up. And what's going to happen is that when you add water to dried distress ink, it reactivates the ink and it sort of repels the color. And so I'm going to let this sit on this watercolor piece for about 2 minutes. So 2 minutes have passed, and I'm going to come in with my paper towel and just pick up that ink, and it's like almost acts like bleach and picks up all that color. Now I did notice that it pulled up more ink when it was some of the areas where it was just one color. So up at the top where it was mostly that pink from Warren Lipstick, it picked up a lot of that and a little bit of the yellow. But the areas where I had added a lot of color, it didn't pull up as much. So I'm just doing this one more time, sprinkling on some more water. And I also let this one sit for an additional 2 minutes. And it's because once I saw all those white spots, I thought it looked really cool, and I wanted to add more white spots. So I'm just dabbing away with the paper towel to pull up that color. And I actually did this water droplet thing, I think 3 or 4 times, just trying to get more and more of that spotted interest going. I especially wanted to break up some of those kind of more solid orange areas in the top right corner and the bottom left corner. I really wanted to get a little bit more variation in color and shade in those particular areas. So I added even more water onto those little spots, and this time I let it sit for even longer. And this is kind of when I discovered that it really depends on how much ink you put down if you're going to get the actual white spots. So I think if I was going to do this again, I may have not added so much color on top of things, but I do like how it turned out, and I like the effect. So, and it was so beautiful, I really didn't want to cut it apart and not show all of it. So that's what inspired me to create my card design for today. I really wanted to keep the background intact. So I did trim off just about 1/4 of an inch off each end so that it would fit on a 5x7 card, and I'm going to be creating a 5x7 card base with the fold on the short end. So I had to take 2 pieces of cardstock, and one is cut to 5x7 and the other is 5x7 1/2. And I'm going to take the longer piece and put that on my scoring board and score it at the 1/2 inch mark. This is going to create the back panel of the card, and then I'm going to be adhering the 2 pieces together. And this is going to create a 5x7 card with the fold on the short end You couldn't do this otherwise with your regular cardstock. So I'm using some red line tape for this. I like to use this type of adhesive for putting cards together and things that have to really, really stick. I like this adhesive for that because it seriously, you can adhere something and press it down and it won't come apart. So I lined up those two pieces of cardstock, and then I tucked that flap underneath and added and then pressed down so that it created the entire card. And I really like to make cards like this because you can make almost any card size you want. All you have to do is think ahead and plan for that fold wherever it's going to be. You can make really, really large cards this way. So in order to create my card and have the background be the focal point and not really lose any of that really awesome detail, I decided I would die cut a bunch of things and then put it all together on the one card. And these flower die cuts are actually called partial flower or partial cut flowers. And it's because the center of the flowers don't cut. They stay intact in the cardstock, so you can just fluff up the petals and you don't lose any of that really cool background. So the only part that's actually cut completely out is the word hugs. This is the big hugs die from Simon Says Stamp, and the flower dies are also from Simon. And I'm just specially reserving those little interior pieces. I want to make sure I save those because I'll need them later. And then I took the black cardstock that I used for the card base and I cut out 4 more of those big hugs dies. So here's those flower petals I was talking about. I'm just poking up the petals, fluffing them up so that it creates some dimension. And I love this idea for when you want to reserve your background and make sure that your background is shown and you're not going to lose any of it by cutting pieces apart. So I'm adding adhesive to the back of this watercolor piece, and I'm putting some adhesive along all the edges, and then I'm taking multi-glue from Tombow and putting that up against the word. And I'm doing that because I want to make sure all those pieces or those areas right around the word don't pull up. And I'm going to be putting those interior pieces back in, but to make sure they line up perfectly, I'm going to take one of the black hugs die cuts that I created, and I'm going to place that right inside like a puzzle. And it's going to slip right inside that cut area and make it so it's flush with the top of that watercolor piece. And then now I can take those little tiny die cuts and glue them down. So I added a little bit of glue in each of those little areas. And then I can pick up the little tiny itty bitty pieces that I've saved up in the top corner of my cutting mat and place those inside, also like a puzzle piece. This makes it so those interior pieces are in the exact spot where they need to be, and there's no guessing. So I'm just placing those in and pressing down to make sure everything's adhered really well. And then I decided to start adhering the additional black hugs die cuts. I'm just stacking them together with a little bit of adhesive in between. And I'm going to be creating kind of like a faux chipboard. I showed you guys this technique in the video yesterday when I did the word hello. It's the same exact thing, but this time I'm just using black cardstock. And the top layer, instead of just being plain black, is that watercolor piece that I cut earlier. So I'm going to be placing this all on top, and then I won't lose any of that really awesome Distress ink watercolor background that I created. So I just did some dots inside the hugs there, and then I adhered this down. And it's going to make the word stand out and stand up above the rest of the watercolor piece. And the black gives it kind of like a shadow. And then I took these little clear foam. This is like a clear foam, and it's from Cool Tack, and I cut it into little squares, and I put them under the petals, just on the 2 largest flowers, because the petals on the 3 smaller flowers were a little bit too small, and I didn't want to have to deal with cutting little pieces like that. But I did want to make sure that the petals on the largest flowers did remain standing up. I think this looks really cool, and it gives you a little bit more of a peek at that black underneath. I think you could also use black foam adhesive. That would work as well. So now I'm just using a variety of sequins and adding that onto my piece here. I'm going to be using some matte multi-medium from Ranger to adhere all these, and I'm using my quick sticks tool and picking it up with the one end of the quick sticks, putting a little bit of that matte multi-medium, and then I'm using the pointy end of the quick sticks tool to press it down. So I'm using both hands to adhere all these, and it almost feels like I'm doing surgery. I think it looks cool, and I wanted to make sure I got these precisely on there. So I wanted to make sure that the sequins got into the exact spots where I want them. And the Quick Sticks tool is a really great tool for that. In fact, I have an old model of the Quick Sticks tool, but I'm never going to run out of the adhesive that's in it. It's kind of crazy. There's a ton in there. So then I took some Ranger Glossy Accents and added it all around on that Hugs die just until everything was completely coated. And it's going to give a little bit more interest and make the word stand out more, because this is a really kind of busy background so things can get lost. And I wanted to make sure that it was different enough that you could definitely see that it was a word. And I think it worked out really, really well. I'm really in love with all the dimension on this card and how everything's popping up. I think it's really, really cool. Just want to remind you guys that all of the supplies for today's card are listed down in the video description or over at my blog. And I will be back on Monday with another Make a Card Monday video. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Three more videos for you guys to check out, and the first two are my most recent cards, and the last one is last week's Distress Ink Friday Focus card. So if you're looking for additional ideas for Distress inks, go ahead and hit that video on the right and it will take you to last week's Friday Focus card. You can visit my blog at kingwernerdesign.com, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, and also if you subscribe to my channel. I would love it very much, and thank you so much to everyone who already subscribes. Like I said before, I'll see you guys on Monday, and I'll see you next time.